stitches across centuries the designer who rewrote Regency style. Lila Bennett's fingers hover over the antique sewing machine, its brass gears glinting under the museum's soft lights. As a fashion design grad student, she'd spent months researching 19th century textiles, but this piece in 1815 Regency-era sewing machine felt different. When she brushed her palm against its cold metal surface, a sharp electric jolt surged through her body. The room spun, and she collapsed into darkness. When Lila opened her eyes, she was no longer in the museum. She lay on a grassy lawn, surrounded by women in empire waist gowns and men in tailcoats, their voices carrying on a gentle breeze. A woman in a muslin dress hurried over, her expression alarmed. "Miss, are you quite all right? You've fallen near the Duke of Harrington's garden party." Lila's mind raced. The dresses, the accents, the carriage rolling past. This was 1815 London, straight out of a Jane Austen novel. She time-traveled, and her modern jeans and graphic tee made her stick out like a sore thumb. "I'm fine," she stammered, accepting the woman's hand. "Just a touch dizzy." The woman introduced herself as Lady Clara Wentworth, a young noblewoman with a passion for fashion. "Your clothes are most unusual," she said, eyes widening. "Where did you acquire such a practical style?" Lila seized the opportunity. "I'm a designer from a distant land," she lied. "My work focuses on comfort and innovation." Lady Clara's face lit up. "How fortunate. The tons gowns are so cumbersome, layers of petticoats, restrictive corsets. I'd give anything for something more freeing." That night, Lila found herself a guest at Lady Clara's estate. Her modern clothes replaced with a simple Regency gown. But as she sat at the sewing table, she grew restless. The era's fashion was beautiful, but it trapped women in rigid, uncomfortable designs. With her 21st century knowledge, she could revolutionize it if she dared. She snuck into the estate's sewing room, gathering silk, linen, and thread. Using techniques she learned in design school, she cut the fabric into a streamlined silhouette, removing excess layers and replacing the corset with a soft, supportive undergarment. She added subtle pleats for movement and a detachable collar that could be swapped for different occasions. By dawn, she'd created a gown that blended Regency elegance with modern functionality. When Lady Clara saw it, she gasped. "It's exquisite, and so light I could dance all night in this." She wore it to a ball that evening, and the room fell silent. Women whispered in admiration, men stared, and the Duke of Harrington, one of London's most influential figures, approached. "Lady Clara, your gown is extraordinary. Who is the designer?" Lila stepped forward, her heart pounding. "I am, Your Grace. Lila Bennett." The Duke's eyes narrowed with curiosity. "Your work is unlike anything I've seen. Would you consider creating gowns for my daughter's coming-out ball?" This was her chance. Lila agreed, and soon, she was flooded with commissions. She designed gowns with hidden pockets, a revelation for Regency women, adjustable waistlines, and breathable fabrics. She taught the seamstresses new stitching techniques, and her designs became the talk of London. But not everyone was pleased. Lady Penelope Featherington, a rival designer favored by the Queen, scoffed. "Miss Bennett's designs are vulgar. They disregard tradition. She's a fraud, pretending to be a lady of taste." She spread rumors that Lila's clothes were unladylike and tried to sabotage her by buying up all the silk in London. But Lila fought back. She sourced sustainable fabrics, linen, cotton, and even recycled textiles, proving that fashion could be both beautiful and practical. She hosted a fashion show in the park, inviting women of all classes to model her designs. When Lady Penelope arrived to mock her, Lila confronted her publicly. "Fashion isn't about restricting women," she said, her voice clear and strong. "It's about empowering them. My designs let women move, work, and live without sacrificing style." The crowd cheered. The Queen, who'd secretly attended the show, approached Lila. "Your work is bold, Miss Bennet, and it speaks to the changing times. I'd like you to be my personal designer." Lady Penelope's face turned ashen. Lila's success was sealed. She opened a boutique in London's most fashionable district, employing women from poor backgrounds and teaching them her techniques. She became a symbol of progress, proving that innovation could thrive even in the most traditional of eras. Months later, as Lila stood in her boutique, admiring a rack of her designs, she felt a familiar tingle in her fingers. The antique sewing machine now displayed in her shop glowed softly. She knew it was time to go home. But as she touched it, she hesitated. She found purpose here, a way to blend her passion with progress. "Stay," Lady Clara said, appearing beside her. "London needs you. We need you." Lila smiled. She thought of her modern life, late nights in the design studio, student loans, the pressure to conform. Here, she'd rewritten the rules, empowered women, and found a family. She turned away from the sewing machine. "I'm not going anywhere." Years later, Lila's name was legendary. She revolutionized Regency fashion, paving the way for more comfortable, inclusive designs. She married a kind-hearted blacksmith who shared her love for innovation, and they raised a daughter who inherited her creative spirit. One day, a young woman visited her boutique, carrying a tattered sketchbook. "I want to be a designer like you," she said. "I want to make clothes that make women feel free." Lila handed her a needle and thread. "Then let's start stitching," she said. As the young woman began to sew, Lila looked out the window at the bustling London streets. She traveled back in time,